Now we gotta get down to business, Mr. Common. I'm a host, and so I have to ask you this question, because everybody always wanna know this. Are you dating anyone?
So, yes, and I'm in a relationship that is one of the most beautiful people I ever met in life. And she's smart, she loves God, she has something real down to earth about her. She's talented, but I set my standard kind of high because she had to have an EGOT. She had to win an Oscar on her first movie. I set my standard high. She had to get her own talk show.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so.
Did Common just get caught red-handed stepping out on Jennifer Hudson? Because Tiffany Haddish sure seems to think so. And she's been throwing shade at Jennifer like it's her full-time job. Everybody knows Tiffany's still salty about Common leaving her for J. Hud. And now it looks like she's finally plotting her revenge in plain sight, letting little jabs fly every chance she gets.
Girl, he never gave me no damn earrings. He probably gave us to Jennifer.
He's got one of the small in hip-hop. And you know that to be true, Lonnie. So you gotta be a plan. Because all of these ain't wanting you for your cause ain't none there. And before you go and say she lying again, guess what? Tiffany said it ain't grown none in 20 years either. And I know she's seen it. And if you keep running around Hollywood asking people not to with Tiffany, I'ma start telling people that maybe it's time for me to put in my own lawsuit. Cause you did stick your in my mouth while I was asleep with my clothes on. Maybe it's time to sue you.
The word on the street? Folks been warning Jennifer that Common isn't the sweet, smooth talker she thought he was. He's got a whole trail of broken hearts and side-eye stories in his past. Now whispers say he's already parading a brand new woman around like he doesn't have a care in the world, and Jennifer's out here spiraling, showing up in public looking tense, like she's living through the pilot episode of a messy reality TV show we didn't even know was filming. And guess who's sitting back, sipping her tea, and loving every second of this? Tiffany Haddish. Talk about a bitter ex. She ain't even trying to hide the smirk on her face. Every little slip-up Jennifer makes, Tiffany's right there, sliding in with shade so slick you almost miss it. And now the million-dollar questions are flying.
Jenny Jen still kicking it. That's part one. And part two is, do you ever see yourself married one day?
So as far as Jenny Jen.
Jenny Jen.
Jenny Jen.
I love Jenny.
Absolutely, we are together, and I just appreciate her as a partner, as a woman, as an artist, as a human being. She's a special individual, and
I like her a lot.
Man, I'm just grateful for it. I thank God, and yes, we are good. Marriage is something that if I were to get married, then Jennifer is the person.
Oh, she the prototype?
She is but she's not only the prototype, she is the person.
Yeah.
But that being said, it's one of those things where I'm like always looking at my life and saying, okay, because that's a strong choice to make, you know. And,
Absolutely.
And,
not to be taken lightly.
Almost. Why on earth would Common cheat on Jennifer Hudson of all people? Who's this mysterious new woman that's got him grinning like he just won the lottery? And is Tiffany actually plotting to swoop in and snatch him back just for bragging rights? Look, I'm not here to kick J. Hud while she's already down. But let's be real. This one had warning signs all over it. Common has never been the forever type. No matter how much he tries to sell that hopeless romantic image, his dating history? Nothing but high-profile flings, short-lived romances, and a track record that screams run while you can. Still, fans were clinging to hope that J. Hud might be the one to finally make him slow down, lock in, and maybe even start a whole new family. But now, that whole fairy tale is looking like it just got tossed in the trash. The streets are buzzing heavy with talk that Common's been stepping out on J. Hud in a big way, and word is, she's absolutely crushed. What makes it even wilder is the fact that this man was just out here, loud and proud, telling the whole world she was the one. He was even out here talking about marriage, painting that perfect couple image like it was set in stone. But the gag?
We'll talk about the other tea a little later. Yeah. What?
You not got it?
You get cut off and you motherfuckers brought the tea.
The whole time, homeboy was out here moving reckless, spreading his attention and affection all over town. While plenty of folks are genuinely feeling bad for Jennifer, Tiffany Haddish is definitely not one of them. If anything, she's enjoying the show like it's front row entertainment. An anonymous insider swears Tiffany's been eating this scandal up like popcorn at a movie premiere. And honestly, if you've been keeping tabs on Tiffany's moves since that breakup with Common, this is no surprise. She's never made it a secret that, deep down, she's still caught up on him. And now, she's got the drama she's been waiting for served on a silver platter.
I'm enjoying it. I'm not gonna put nothing extra on it. If he wanna marry me, he can get me an apartment building.
Oh, okay. That would be, you don't want a ring, you want an apartment complex.
I'd give me a duplex, an eightplex or something. You know, when the homegirl be like, where your ring? I thought you was engaged. Where your ring? Where your carrots? Carrots. Girl, please, I got units. Knock it off.
Tiffany's been tossing shade like it's her favorite sport. And some of those jabs make it very clear she's convinced Common cheated on her with J. Hud from the jump. One prime example?
I'm gonna do what's good for me and the lady. You know, right now all I want is happiness, good times, peace on earth.
During an Instagram Live, a fan brought up how they had gifted Common a pair of earrings to pass along to her. They asked if she ever got them, and Tiffany didn't even blink before firing off pure bitterness. She clapped back saying, "Girl, he never gave me no damn earrings. He probably gave them to Jennifer." And she meant every syllable.
We both have professions. Well, I think once Tiffany and I got back on the move, it really didn't allow for us to spend as much time and put as much energy into our relationship. I don't think the love really dispersed. I just think it was just like we weren't feeding the relationship. And as you said, neither one of us is gonna stop. Like we both care about our crafts and what we do. And we care about love too and partnership, but I think, the energy that has been put into our careers and continuing to want to do the things that we do for ourselves and for the people, it's like, it was hard for me to balance all of that and keep the relationship.
Now tell me, if Jennifer was really messing with Common while he was still with Tiffany, doesn't that make all of Tiffany's years of slick comments and side eyes suddenly make perfect sense? It also explains why she's out here savoring every juicy second of this cheating scandal. In Tiffany's mind, this is karma doing its thing, the universe spinning the block and serving payback on a cold platter. But here's where it gets spicy. Not everyone thinks she's just here for revenge. Some fans believe Tiffany sees this as the perfect opening to slide right back in, reclaim her spot, and maybe even flaunt being the one that got away.
And he says the work he's doing on himself will help him fulfill a lifelong dream. And you write a lot about you want to be a husband one day. You have a rather famous relationship coach.
Oh yeah, yes, Michelle Obama. She has definitely helped talk me through just certain moments of relationships. We had conversations, and she has given me a lot of wisdom. But one great thing that she told me as I was going through this journey was that you have to understand you're not going to get anybody that's perfect because you're not perfect. So understand that there's some certain things that you will compromise in choosing that partner. But as long as the core values, the values that are most important to you, that person, marks off on that list, then you good.
She gave you some good advice there.
That's good wisdom.
She does some really good wisdom there.
Or in this case, the one that came back. That wouldn't scare Tiffany off one bit. If there's even the slightest chance of winning Common back, she'd be like, "Come here, baby, let's talk." Because truth be told, when she first started dating him, it was crystal clear she was way more invested than he ever was. She's the one who pushed for them to go public in the middle of the pandemic, like she wanted to plant her flag before anyone else could. They quarantined together, and Tiffany made sure the world knew it. She even hopped on Instagram Live with Dwayne Wade and Gabrielle Union, subtly angling her camera so everybody could catch a glimpse of her man in the background. A soft flex, but a flex nonetheless. Like I said, Tiffany was locked in, while Common was just there. She couldn't stop gushing about him for that first birthday they spent together, and she wanted it to be unforgettable. In one interview, she even painted out her dream plan in full detail. "I'm just hoping me and my man, we go hot air ballooning and have us a nice little meal." She compared it to her past birthdays, getting tipsy with her grandma at 39, throwing a wild bat mitzvah for herself at 40. But this year, she wanted something romantic and magical. Instead, Common completely skipped the hot air balloon dream, didn't plan a thing, and just sent her some flowers. Sources say Tiffany was quietly disappointed. And honestly, flowers are the bare minimum for your woman's big day. She even admitted she was hoping for a proposal, not with a ring, but with the deed to an apartment building. Something real, something lasting. Instead, she got petals in a vase and a cold reminder of where she stood in his priorities. Tiffany had high hopes, but if you're wondering how Common reacted to all that, he pretty much made it crystal clear he was in it for a good time, not a long time. That man wasn't planning forever. He was planning weekend vibes and red carpet photos. So when they called it quits just a couple months later, fans weren't exactly shocked. If anything, a lot of people were relieved Tiffany had finally broken free from what they were calling Common's chokehold. Because, let's be real, he had her wrapped up tight. But here's the kicker. Common was the one who ended it. And instead of owning that, he tried to spin it like it was just their busy schedules getting in the way. Tiffany wasn't about to let him slide with that excuse. She fired back in her own interview, low-key dragging him by saying he might just be the kind of guy who never really settles down with anybody. Maybe he's like a bee, going from flower to flower to flower. I don't know. I wish nothing but joy and happiness. That might have sounded polite on the surface, but read between the lines, and it felt like she was hinting that he'd already been creeping. And when Common popped up with J. Hud, Tiffany circled back with more shade, telling another outlet, "It was the healthiest, the funnest relationship I ever had." The breakup wasn't mutual. It was him saying, "I think this relationship is running its course." And me saying, "Okay, you're gonna be a 50-year-old single man. Okay, now." It's starting to look like she's watching J. Hud get the exact same treatment, just with a front row seat this time. But here's the wildest part. Tiffany and J. Hud are far from the only ones Common's pulled this on. The man's got a heartbreak resume that goes back decades, with names like Serena Williams, Taraji P. Henson, Erykah Badu, and a handful of others sprinkled in. And trust me, that list is longer than people think. Every single time, it's the same tired pattern. Just when the woman starts catching real feelings, he hits her with the old psych, calls it quits, and then pops up with somebody new like it's nothing. What's even more telling is that none of his exes seem to leave things on friendly terms with him, especially Erykah Badu. And that's because, according to the streets, he did every single one of them dirty in his own way. For a little context, Erykah and Common started dating back in 2000, sticking together for about 2 years before she decided to walk away in late 2002. At first, Erykah kept the breakup details locked down. But Common? Oh, he had no problem spilling his side. He claimed the whole thing ended because she caught feelings for somebody else and dumped him over the phone. His words, "She handed it to me. I was in my hotel room on tour, and she called me and was like, 'Hey, I don't want to be in this relationship no more.'" And if you think that was the end of the drama, oh no. That was just the beginning of the Common heartbreak cycle. Common's version of the story was all heartbreak and violins. He said, "It was somebody else. That was my first love and my first heartbreak." He swore that with Erykah Badu, it was the kind of love where you feel wide open, floating on air. When they split, he was 27 or 28, stuck in a haze, just going through the motions. According to him, it was hard to ease, like he was the victim of some great love tragedy. But here's the thing. Erykah eventually got tired of hearing him retell that breakup like she was the cold-hearted villain who blindsided him. So, in her own cryptic way, she started hinting that maybe the story wasn't as one-sided as he liked to make it sound. She implied infidelity had been in the mix, dropping lines like, "No, infidelity is not a deal breaker for me. We are all born sexual beings. I don't have a high libido. I need companionship. I need a partner I can depend on, love, and grow with. But I understand the nature of these men. They have a need to chase." Translation, even though he allegedly stepped out on her, he still had the nerve to spin the breakup as her fault, claiming she caught feelings for another man. And if that doesn't sound like a pattern we've seen repeat over and over, well, Jennifer Hudson might just be learning the hard way. That's straight up manipulative. And when I say this man's got a bad rap, I mean it. After things fell apart with Angela Rye, suddenly Common was on this "I've changed" campaign. He started talking about how he'd gone to therapy, done the inner work, and was finally ready to be a better partner. He was selling the healed man image hard, like he was auditioning for Husband of the Year. But judging by how things went down with J. Hud, either therapy didn't stick. or he needs to be asking his therapist for a full refund. Because let's be real, you don't get to preach about growth and commitment while supposedly running around behind your woman's back. And the coldest part? He was out here acting like Jennifer was the one, hyping her up in interviews, smiling for the cameras, all while, allegedly, moving shady in the background. And this is where it hits even harder. Jennifer Hudson has already been through enough heartbreak for a lifetime. Y'all remember her past relationship with wrestler David Otunga? Things took a dark, tragic turn when her mom, brother, and nephew were murdered by her former brother-in-law. That's the kind of pain you don't ever fully heal from. And the last thing she needed was a man playing games with her trust. Just a few weeks after Jennifer Hudson got engaged, tragedy struck in the worst way imaginable. It was an unbearably painful time, and she needed someone steady to lean on. Thankfully, David Otunga stepped up in a big way, staying by her side, helping her navigate the grief, even planning quiet getaways to give her some kind of escape from the nightmare she was living. Then, like a burst of light breaking through endless darkness, Jennifer got pregnant later that same year. By 2009, they welcomed their son, David Jr., and for a while, it looked like their little family was falling into place perfectly. But by 2010, after being engaged for over 2 years, people started whispering, when were they finally going to walk down the aisle? Rumor had it they were set to marry that year, but they quietly pushed the date back. Eventually, the wedding never came, and instead of happily ever after, they were heading toward a messy and painful breakup. Jennifer claims that in those final months, David's behavior took a dark turn, becoming increasingly aggressive, threatening, and harassing toward both her and their son. She even alleged the situation escalated to mental and physical abuse. According to Jennifer, things got so tense she called security to stop him from showing up at her studio after receiving chilling messages from him. Thankfully, he didn't appear there. But later that same day, she says things went from bad to terrifying. Jennifer alleged that when she got home, David was waiting. She claimed he confronted her, grabbed their son by the arm, and took him upstairs to the master bedroom before shoving her out of the room, all while still holding onto their child's hand. That's the kind of trauma you don't just shake off. So yeah, J. Hud absolutely deserved better than David Otunga. But now the big question is, was Common really an upgrade? Because looking at his track record, I don't think he was ever built to be the good guy she thought she was getting. And now, Jennifer Hudson is just the latest name on Common's ever-growing list of women he's left heartbroken. And true to form, it's probably only a matter of time before he quietly soft launches his next relationship on social media, smiling like nothing ever happened. And you know Tiffany Haddish has to be eating this up like it's her favorite dessert. But here's the thing. Tiffany didn't just toss a little joke into the mix. She cracked this whole situation wide open. Now Jennifer's name is sitting dead center in the mess, while Common's already parading his new flame around like the past doesn't exist. And Tiffany? She's making sure the entire world has a front row seat to every frame of the drama. So now, everyone's left asking, was Tiffany's shade just harmless fun? Or did she rip the bandage clean off wounds that J. Hud is still trying to heal? One thing's for sure, two things for certain. This story is nowhere near over. The next chapter? Oh, it's looking even messier, because word on the curb is J. Hud might be plotting a way to get Common back. And that's when the real fireworks will start. If you're ready for the next update, drop your thoughts in the comments, hit that like button, and subscribe so you don't miss the next chapter. Because trust me, it's about to get even juicier. See you on the next one.